This one is Gishmak. Even though it's from yesterday's daf, but it's negayah to today, historically. All right, so we said boy Rabba, we're about, I would say, 15 lines up from the bottom of Nun Bava on the base. You see boy Rabba?
Yeah.
Boy Rabba. There's a boy Rabba. So Rabba had a shot like this. Chitin v'zar, again, we're talking about that there's no Aina by Karka. Right? There's no Aina by Karka. So Rabba had a shot. Chitin v'zar by Karka. If you had wheat and you planted it in the Karka, Mahu, what's the din? Meaning, yesh lan Aina, ayin lan Aina. Does that have Aina or not? Meaning, wheat would have Aina because it's movable. Right? But if you replanted it now, does it have a din of karka? Command the shajin bekada damin v'yesh al ma'ino. Does it look like that it's put into a kada, like a jug? Right, memela, it's movable. But lino al gav aro, maybe it's bottled to the ground, and therefore it has a din of ground. Meaning, so you sell somebody, you rip somebody off with wheat that's stuck into the ground. So what's the din? Say dami. If the guy says, I put in 6 grains, right? And Adam came and said that they only put in 5, which is I know. Anything that's a midah, mishkal, and minyan. Anything that's measured, weighed, or is counted, even less.
Could you close the window now? It's freezing.
Naftali, you're gonna mute.
I'm sorry.
Even if it's less than an aina, it's chayzer. Right. So then there's no question. There's no. Of course, it's a problem. He said, I planted the field the way I should have. I put in as many grains as I'm supposed to, or seeds. And we came out that he didn't do it properly. So does that have Aina or not? So what's the shayla? Come on, the shadi it's like you put it into a jug, and there is Aina. I don't, but linu agav aro, or is it bottle agav aro? So that's shayla number 1. Nishpayin alayin or ain't nishpayin alayin. So he said, Shaimrim, don't make shvuas on this. So do we make a shvua on this? Meaning on these grains that were replanted into the ground. Do we make a shvua or do we not make a shvua? It's as if it's put into a kad and they do make a shvua. Do we say that it's bottled to the ground and we don't make a shvua? Same shayla. Aimer Matiran, and then the third shayla is mamash negayah to today. Aimer Matiran or ain't Aimer Matiran? Does the carbon Aimer be matirid or is it not matirid? We know that there's something called chadash and yasha. So anything that was planted before Pesach does not become mutter to eat until they brought the carbon Aimer. And in Chutz La'aretz there was no carbon Aimer, so it's today. Any wheat does not become mutter to eat until the carbon is brought today. Until today. So Mamela, the question is, this guy took the wheat and replanted it inside the ground. So is that considered new, or is that considered old? If it's new, then you can't eat it anymore till next Pesach. If it's old, then you could eat it. So this was old grain and I replanted it. So hey, what's the case? Ida Ashrash, if it already took root, Tanina, we learned that case. And Ida Lai Ashrash, and if it didn't take root, Tanina, we also learned it. That's im Hishrishu Kaidim Laimer, if it took root before the carbon Aimer Matirun Daimer matters it. Im Lav, and if not, Asuran, Achi Yava Aimer Haba, until the next Aimer comes, until the next year. So it's all telling whether it took root or not. Which one of the heterim why we in Chutz La'aretz don't necessarily keep chadash, meaning we're not makbir we're not makbid on chodosh is because it's a suffix, or it's really the Ramah says it's a svek sveka, which is it's a hard svek sveka to understand, but we don't know when they took root. Right? We don't know if they took root before or they took root after, right? So
yeah. You would never know in Eretz Yisrael either. If a farmer doesn't know, he doesn't know. Why? What's the difference?
The
farmers in Eretz Yisrael are smarter than the farmers in Chutz La'aretz. What?
No, I think they were just Yidden. So they kept track of it, but I don't know if that's right. I have no idea if that's right.
Okay.
But in Europe, you had no way to know. Anyway, so that was the shiloh. So either way, it should be telling whether whether it took root or not. So my answer is it's talking about where he gathered it, whether he cut it, and then he replanted them before the carbon oim. Right? And the oimer came, and literally means it passed over them. And didn't take root. So meaning it really grew before. Then he cut it before the carbon oim was brought, and then he replanted. And then the carbon oimer came. So then on Tamar Aleph now. So now can he pick from this thing and eat them? Right, so meaning it didn't really take root, but it had root before. Right? So it didn't take root before, so then that's the question. So Gemara, yes, command the shada b'kadadami. We look at it like it's in a jug. The sharinu oimer and the oimer is matter, and but little agavara, it's batal agavara. So teku, we say that it's a teku. And Eliyahu Navi is going to come. I had a chumrah this year by the seder pouring kosher Eliyahu. I said, l'chayr, we have to pour him grape juice, because if you pour him wine and he comes to drink the wine, then he can't paskin all the shilas. No, anybody hear my chumrah? No. I guess nobody's buying it. All right, that was my chumrah of the year. The dafka use grape juice for Eliyahu Navi. All right. Anyways, yeah. So Amar Rav Chasa, yeah.
But grape juice is a b'di'evet, so he's gonna come and do a b'di'evet.
What?
Oh, I definitely gave him wine.
But he drank wine from other people.
Maybe he's coming to you first. Maybe he's coming to you first.
Grape juice is a b'di'evet for the Arba Kostos, not necessarily for the Eliyahu Kos.
Well, that's his choice.
Yeah, but the Dalit Kostos grape juice is not good for. Is a b'di'evet, but not necessarily for his kos.
Well, you're posking on his choice.
No, we're talking out loud here. We don't know. So Eliyahu could get drunk. I'm just saying, Eliyahu can get drunk.
Why not?
I don't know why not.
I mean, Eliyahu can drink a cup of wine.
Well, if you're telling me that he should be drinking grape juice instead of wine, then yes.
Well, I don't know. We're pouring him a
next year's new Haggadah. We should put it.
My son wants to know if Eliyahu Navi goes to every single person's house. How is it possible?
Of course he does.
The same way he's at every single bris.
Yeah.
He makes it. Right? Who says he paskins all the tekus at the Seder? Maybe he'll paskin them whatever, cholamoid or something.
Because the island wants for a treat.
They want tiritza. I hear.
We're waiting for thousands of years, and he's going to say, "No, I'm not telling you." It's like a commercial. Like after these commercials, I'm going to be.
He's like, I want to go to Adventureland first before I paskin these things.
Or Disney World.
What about all the Hey Munach stuff? What does he do with that? Maybe he gives it out also.
What?
The Yehei Munach, Hachiyov Elinor. What is he? He brings a big package to give out to the people that put stuff away.
I hear. I don't know, Taka. I don't know. Yeah. Anyways, okay. So that's but
Maybe
this,
some sheikh it's invented that thing because of your kasha dove. A guy coming with a big bag.
yeah. Yeah. But anyway, okay. So that's a take. Fine. So Amar Rav Chasa Boy Rav Ami. I know Ein Lahem Bitul Mekach. I'm sorry. I know Ein Lahem. They don't have Oina because we said Karka Avodim. They don't have Hektish. What was the fourth one? Karka Avodim, Hektish, and Shtaris. Don't have Oina, right? But Bitul Mekach Yeshem Ein Lahem. Meaning, does that mean that if a guy totally rips you off, right? He doubles your thing. Does that mean that there's no Bitul Mekach, right? So, meaning Bitul Mekach means that the whole thing is gone. That's it. We nullify the whole purchase. Amar Rav Nachman, Hold Amar Rav Chasa, Pashat Rav Ami. I know Ein Lahem Bitul Mekach. Ein Lahem. I keep running it. I know Ein Lahem Bitul Mekach Yeshem. They don't have I know, but there is such a thing as Bitul Mekach. So if you get totally fleeced on Karka or Avodim or by Hektish, then yeah, right. So then there's such a thing, which Taisus says, based on a kasha that he has. Taisus says it means half, right? He says Ein no ad palga, but more than half. That's what we're talking about here, right? Meaning it's not more than a sixth. Yeah, up until double, they're allowed to charge, right?
The real estate guys do more than double.
Well, yeah, well, I don't know. Is it? Yeah, I guess, but that's probably the going rate.
I mean, I'm not in real estate. Seems to me the columns are the going rate is whatever you can get is the going rate in real estate.
Yeah. I don't know. That's hard to prove. Whatever it is, but it would have to be more than 50%. That's what Taisa says. Anyway, so Rav Yaina Amar Haktoshos. Rav Yaina said he was only going on Hektish. Rav Yirmi Amar Karkais was going on Karkais. Right? V'tavayu Mishmei Rav Yochanan Amar, and they're both going in the name of Rav Yochanan. No, Ein Lahem Bitul Mekach, Ein Lahem Bitul Mekach Yesh Lahem. They're both saying that it's going according to Rav Yochanan. One says it's going on Hektish, one says it's going on Karka. The one that said it's going on Hektish, Kol Sheken HaKarkais, for sure it's going on Karka, which this is something that I don't understand. But I don't know if it's mashma that the other things I do understand. Okay, but Mandam HaKdash is Kol Sheken HaKarkais. Mandam HaKarkais, HaKdash loy, but on Hektish not. Meaning, if you say that Hektish, if Hektish rips you off more than half, then the whole thing gets nullified. So you're gonna for sure say it on Karka, right? So why? Because Rashi says there's no such thing as a mistake. Klape Shmaya. This is a deep thing. I think this is a deep thing, but I don't know. There's no such thing as a mistake. Rashi in Kol Shekain says, meaning Shemaya, Hashem can't make a mistake. If you're saying that Hashem overcharged you by half, you go back, then it gets nullified, and then Kol Shekain on Karka. But if you say that it gets nullified if it gets ripped off more than half by Karka, that doesn't mean that Hektish is. Right? Meaning now I don't understand, what does that mean Hashem can't make a mistake? I mean, I understand Hashem can't make a mistake. I'm not arguing that part. But it's not Hashem making the mistake, it's the Gizbar. But all of a sudden the Gizbar can't make a mistake. Right? Unless you say getting into the heebie-jeebies that yes, a Gizbar can't make a mistake because since he's working on behalf of Hashem, that means that was Ratzon Hashem. No, is this too deep? I'm struggling with this. I'm struggling with this.
That's dangerous. That means anybody who works for the money show, doesn't make a mistake.
Correct.
That's a dangerous thing to say.
It is a dangerous, but how else do you understand it? Tell me, please, what else is pshat in this Gemara? It's not like you went up to Shemayim and asked for change. You know what I mean? You didn't do that. You went to the Beis HaMikdash.
But you're saying maybe their bunny shall won't let it happen?
What?
You're saying their bunny shall won't let it happen?
How else do you understand it? Right? I don't understand how else how any other way to understand it. But okay. Yeah.
Where are we? How many lines? Where are we? Then
right by Toisus Yotza Lechulin, right next to it.
Okay.
To the Shmuel, the Amar Shmuel, Hektish Shava Mana, Shechilalu al Shava Pruta Mechulul. If you take Hektish that's worth 100 and you mechalil it onto a regular Shava Pruta, it's considered Mechulul, even though you're getting it's essentially it's ripping it off. Right?
So you're not allowed to do that. So you're not allowed to put hektish onto a coin.
It's not
only Meister, I thought.
What?
I thought you're not allowed to do that. Didn't we say that a bunch of times? Not now. Recently, I said you're not allowed to take hektish and put it and put it onto something else. Both get the hektish then. You didn't get anything.
That's tmura. That's tmura with animals. Right? We said by Meiser Sheni, sometimes you couldn't, you could.
Right. So by Sheni, one that you're allowed to. Other stuff you couldn't. That's what I remember. You weren't allowed to.
Yeah.
I'm not saying okay.
It depends on the type of hektish. If it's by the kabbalah, it needs to be mechul.
And if a guy makes Hashem his partner and he gives like Fruchthandler gives 10% to Chaim Berlin, then he can't make a mistake in that deal either.
A lot of people
according to him, he can't. No.
I understand. I'm asking according to this Gemara.
Well, if you don't like Chaim Berlin, then with no shortage of people like that, then they're going to for sure disagree, right?
No, that's not a raya because over here, hektish money, it belongs. Fruchthandler's money, it's his money. He's giving to Chaim Berlin. Hektish money, it belongs to.
Right, it is hektish, right? That's true.
That's different.
Right.
Time out. That hektish money belongs. What do you mean belongs to him? The 10% belongs to him.
I mean, officially it belongs to him. Yeah, really, we say it belongs to Shammai, but Lamaisa belongs. It's a minute. The way we pass him, certainly, it's just a minute, not just. It's a minute.
No, we're not doing nothing.
Right.
For example, if you go and steal Fruchthandler's money, you stole his money. You didn't do a me'ila. If you go into hektish, you use that money. Right. You were mal. You're mal b'Hashem.
Correct. Yeah, but anyway, so that's what the Gemara is saying. So you see that there's such a thing as I know, right? It's not considered a mistake. Yeah, fine. So Tanan Hasam. We learned in the Mishnah there, Bal Mum. Let's say something hektish had a mum. So now that's a case of Naftali where you machalal it, right? Yotze lechulin, it goes out to chulin, but tzarach lasles leidamim, meaning if you took something that's hektish, it's a balmum. So what do? You paid it onto something else. Right? So that thing goes out to chulin, but let's say it's not worth the same amount of money, then you have to pony up, right? So Amar Rav Yochanan, Yotze lechulin dvar Torah. it goes to chulin midday raisa, but tzarich lasa is done midday reim. And the Rabbanan said, since there was a price difference, so then you have to make it up. But that's a derabbanan. But no, it's even a deraisa that you have to make up the money. All right, we'll see more about this. So am I asking, what's the case? If you say that the difference between them is aina, meaning 1/6, right? Then so then that's where we're saying that it's midaraisa. But we have in the Mishnah, elu davarim she'en lem aina. These are the things that don't have an akakoyes vava and vashtaras ve'ekdashos. Right? So how could it be that it's a daraisa? Ela bitul mekach. So what must it be? Must be bitul mekach. B'hal lemer Rabbi Yochanan tzarich lasas adam and dereim. So then, in that case, with the Rabbi Yochanan say you need to do the money with dereim. V'amar Rabbi Yochanan hakdashos. Right? He said it's going on hektish. Rabbi Yiri Amar Akarkais. Rabbi Yiri says it's going on karka. But Tavar Mishmei Rabbi Yochanan Amri Oina Ein Lem Bitul Mekach Yeshlam, and they both say that there's Oina that doesn't have Oina, but it does have Bitul Mekach. Right? So you see that they're learning in Rabbi Yochanan that if the Oina is more than 1/6, it still works. Right? But before we said that it's a Bitul Mekach. So which one is it? One answer is no. We're talking about a bitul mekach. Ve'epuch and Peretz's favorite teretz. Ve'epuch, switch the shitas. The Rabbi Yochanan and the Rish Lakish. Just switch Rabbi Yochanan with Rish Lakish, or the Rish Lakish Rabbi Yochanan, and switch Rish Lakish with Rabbi Yochanan. Right, which is interesting because what do you have to say it twice? Meaning, if he's switching it, and then they both. Then they both switch.
This one answer for that? That also bothered me.
Yeah, I didn't see it. No, I thought about it just now. I don't know why it didn't bother me before. All right.
Yochanan had to be the nicest person in the world. I'll tell you that. He's sweating in base magic for 75 years, and this guy walks in off a wanted post in the post office. And then a year later, he's arguing with him and all over Shas,
Yeah. I hear. But anyway, yeah. So okay. So that's. But anyway, so that's what we're going to switch it. So, but my community, what lamaisa is the machlokes? All right. With the Shmuel, the Amar Shmuel. Hektish shava mana, shechil al shava pruta. If you have hektish that's worth a mana, that you mechal it onto a pruta. Mechulal, it's considered mechulal. Mar islay the Shmuel, umar leslay the Shmuel. Right, meaning if you take a whole mana and you mechal it onto a shava pruta, right, then it's considered chulin, even though it's not nearly worth what the other one is. One holds like Shmuel, and the other one does not hold like Shmuel. That's one way to understand the machlokes. Everybody holds with Shmuel. If it was done, meaning if you take something and you put it into something worth much less, then yes, lechatchila no. And the other one holds even lechatchila. That's one. That's a second time. No, really, it was. The price difference was just a 1/6. Oh, but then we said we have a kasha, so we have to switch the sheet. This was light type of. You don't have to switch it. Over the Rav Chisda coming in the machlokes about Rav Chisda, the Amar, my inhem I know. What does it mean? There's no I know. Einon b'toiras I know. It means it's not in the toiras I know. Now we totally turn it on its head. Till now we're saying that more than a 1/6 is a bitul mekach. And now we're saying it's not in the Torah Saina. In what way? On top of base. Even less than an Aina, it goes back. Right? So, meaning now we're saying that even if you raise the price even slightly, it's considered Right? Meaning it's considered that even if you charge a penny, I don't know if it's a penny. Right? As long as it's as
Yeah, even a pruta.
the thing.
Why not?
Yeah, it's interesting because now we mamish did an about face. We went from saying that there's anything above us of anything above Aina is no problem. And now we're saying fakert the other way around. Now it's the what do you call it? Taisa says, but this is daftik by hektish, but by karka, it doesn't. That's you still go back until half. Right? Fine. Okay. Anyway, so now the Gemara asks a few kashas on this. So Meisvei, ribis by no lahedjit. Right? There's ribis and I know for a hedjit. Right? So what does that mean? That there is meaning us people are hedjits. Vein ribis by no the hektish, and there's no ribis and no hektish. So you see that there's no ribis, and we just got finished saying that there is rib. There's I know. So when answers me alim and it's not any stronger than our Mishnah. We said that the Mishnah doesn't mean that there's no Aina and Hektish could charge whatever it wants. It means the other way around, that even the slightest bit is Aina. So Hachanami in this one too, Ribis Vidin, Aina Ribis Vidin Aina lahedjit, that there's Ribis in the Din lahedjit, vein Ribis Vidin Aina lahektish, and there's no Ribis in Din Aina to hektish. So meaning we're learning that it means Tairas. So when I ask the Hachi Hana the Ketani Seifa Zech Chaimer Behedjim Behektish, but the Seifa says this is where there's the Chumrah of a Hedjit over Hektish. But that's not true. We're saying that now it's a Chumrah. Second, it's not even Hazeh Chaimer Behedjit Behektish. Right, this is the chumrah of hedjit of hektish. No, right, and it's the other way around. It's the chumrah of hektish over hedjit, that there's even the slightest bit of overcharging is considered Aina. The Gemara says, ribis, that line is going on ribis. So when I ask, so why don't you say that this hektish is more chumrah by hedjit by Aina? And why don't you say that? Once you're already saying that this is where there's a chumrah by ribis of hedjit, a hedjit over hektish. So why not say by Aina that there's a chumrah of hektish over hedjit? So when it says we understand what you want to say, that a hedjit's more chumrah than hektish, is sulai, because there's no other cases. Normally in every area, hektish is more chumrah than hedjit. Right? Normally, right? That's always hektish is always more chamer than hedjit, right? But here, punkt. So there's one case. So that's why I say it. Ela hektish zeh chamer. But you're going to say, oh, this is where the chumer where hektish is more chamer than hedjit. The sula and no more. There's lists of things that this hektish is more chamer. So there's no reason to say it. Okay, then the Gemara says ribis the hektish. How do you find the case of ribis by hektish? Hektish is not a bank. Right, how do you have ribis by hektish? Let's say the gizbar lends out 100 and he takes back 120. But like Mala Gizbar, the Gizbar's over a Mila. The Gizbar's not allowed to go lending out money from the Beis Hamikdash. And once he's Moil, so meaning who's the one that took it out of hektish? The Gizbar. The Givin Shamala Gizbar, Yatzum Aisul Chulin. So then the money goes out to Chulin, Vavalu Hedjit. Then it goes back to being a Hedjit. Right? So again, we're looking for a case of ribis from hektish. Somewhere where the guy was makabel on himself to provide the Beis Hamikdash with 4 saw of a seller. The price was 4 saw of flour, right? For 4 whatever the coins were. Right, for a seller, 4 seller probably. Bamdu mishalash, and then what happens? The price went up, and now you only get 3. Kedetanya, like we learned in the Baisa, Hamakabel, Allah, Hamakabel, Allah, the Sapik Salasas May Arba. Somebody is Makabel on himself to provide the base of Mikdash with Silas 4 saw, and the price goes up, Misapik May Arba. He has to give it in the original price, even though he's going to lose now. And then the opposite, Mishalish Vamdu May Arba, but let's say he said 3, and then the flour went down, the price of flour went down, Misapik May Arba, he has to give him from 4. This almost sounds like he's dealing with Walmart, right? Walmart, you're always on the or any major corporation. The provider.
Who's gonna want to do business with Beis Mikdash?
It's very good on his label. Sole provider of Chita to the Mikdash. It's very good. Strauss would love to have it.
It's true. It's true. I think the Gemara somewhere asks this kasha. Why would anybody do this? Well, I think I have that in my head somewhere. The Gemara asks this.
I'm going to lose whatever I do with them.
You have their name. You know,
yeah.
Everybody knows you're for less. Look, they don't say, "Oh, he doesn't have badach, he doesn't have chukshram soifa, he doesn't have rabbanut, he doesn't have ba." He has the base of Mikdash. You don't have to do nothing else.
He knows to get paid.
That's true too.
Zavi, they kept decent terms. Don't worry about it.
No, if you really know, but that's the thing. That's a good bit of thing. That's that when you deal with hektish, then you're going to realize that you're doing God's work. I guess you're the opposite end of what is on Amid Aleph, the guy right who says I can go rip people off because it's Hashem's ratzon. Whatever. I don't know. I didn't think that was a pshat, but right.
Is that really called where it appreciates or depreciates? That's called ribis.
Is that called ribis?
I don't know. It doesn't seem to me like the case of ribis, where it appreciates.
Don't we always talk about somebody borrowing eggs and they return them and it's a different price?
Yeah, but then only with a head, not with a base of English.
It's probably Rabbanan, no? I don't know if it's deraisa.
Right. I don't think it's certainly not a deraisa, but I thought it was also Mexican ribis.
Okay, so I'm saying that's what it says. Ribis the Hagdish, where is it?
Also, it could very well be that they already paid him for it, and if they already paid him for it,
yeah. So therefore, what?
They looked at it like a hava. Now he's paying back more
because it appreciated or depreciated.
What?
Because it appreciated or depreciated.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I think. Okay, we'll see it. I don't know if it'll come up, I think, in Ezer Neshek. Anyway, so that's what it's saying. That's how it's saying it is Rivers. We're talking about the stones of the building that are given over to the Gizbar. Meaning the way they did it is that the Gizbar went to Home Depot and got all the rocks of the Beis HaMikdash, and they still belong to the Hedjit. It didn't belong to Hektish. Right?
Bought it on credit?
No, it wasn't on. I mean, who paid for it? I don't know. I guess the donations.
No. What happened? Home Depot delivered it to the Beis HaMikdash.
Right, and it's not Hektish yet.
So the Beis HaMikdash bought it on credit?
Yeah.
So it's not considered Beis HaMikdash, is that?
Correct.
Why? Because anything I buy on credit is not considered mine.
Right. They went to Home Depot. They had an open tab with Home Depot, and they took it, and they built it, and then
So it belongs when they buy it on credit and it gets delivered to the base of English. It doesn't owe. They don't. It belongs to Home Depot still.
yeah.
Does that make sense?
My supers go to the hardware store to get stuff until I sign off. I had it. What's it called? So the guy walked in, took from my building. The guy sent me the bill. I said, "It's not my super. It's not my stuff." He ripped up the bill right away. It was his problem.
Who owns your house?
Oh, no, it's a big different shaila now. That's a different shaila. Can you make a shechiona when you buy a house?
Yeah, you don't own your house.
If you don't own it, you don't have to put it in mezuzahs.
No, you living there.
Under American law, you do own your house technically. There's a lien on it. Halacha, I don't know, but that's the way it works in American law, I believe.
Yeah, but the question is, meaning you're not the only owner. There's a bank that owns it too.
They have a lien on it. They don't. I don't know if they.
So
own
here, it seems like the base of English owns it. They owe money to Home Depot.
When I put a lien on somebody's property, he didn't pay me. I don't own his property. I have what I've done is I put a shadow over his property that somebody wants to buy it. You realize there is a debt that's attached to the property, but it doesn't mean that I own it.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, I'd say if I'm a bank, I don't own the property. In order for the bank to own the property, they have to go through due process. They have to sue the person for not paying, and then after all that, they're given the rights to the property because the guy loses the case. But it has to be it has to be a certain process. It doesn't just become the banks automatically.
That's part of the shaila. That's part of the shaila here with this whole thing, right? Meaning it's how do we look at it like that? Anyways, but here we're saying that when they build it bechol, meaning on credit, and then once it's built, then they make it into hectares. So that's why the gizbar is able to lend out rocks. He takes them, he gets them on credit, and they're not hectares yet. And the guy says he needs to borrow some rocks. So he can borrow from the gizbar, and then if he charges them ribbis, so then that's the case of that's.
I mean, the reason the base of English is doing it is because if somebody who's building breaks it, they don't want them to be mile English.
Yeah, is that the reason? I'm not sure what the reason is. Does Rashi say? Yeah. That's Rashi says that. Yeah, because you don't want the guys to, by mistake, you lean on the wall, right? You lean on the wall, and now you're over on Mila, or you, I don't know, you use it to pick your teeth or something like that. Yeah. Okay. Right. So now we have a lot of klal product clouds for the rest of the Amud. Right, because we said that there's no kefil, meaning eved, karka, shtar, and shaimrim don't have so they don't have kefil, right? So minani immediately. I'll call dvar pesha klal. Says on every dvar pesha. I'll shor al chomer. I'll say al salma, right? And then it says on an ox and a donkey and a sheep or clothing is a prat. I'll call aveda asher yomar chazav klal. That's a klal prat klal. Klal prat klal. Iyatadon ela ke'ena prat. You darshan it that anything similar to the prat. Ma prat mefurish dover metaltal v'gufay mammon. So the prat is mefurish. It's something that gets carried. But it itself is money. Af kol davar metaltal, anything that's metaltal v'gufay mammon, and it's gufas mammon. Yatsu karkois, yatsu karkois. Shein metaltalin. What is that?
Problem on the company, see?
My car must be picking up my son's Bluetooth. Yeah, I'm sorry. So yatsu karkois, shein metaltalin excludes karkois. That there's no metaltal and yotzo avodim shuk shaluk arkais, and it comes to exclude Avodim, that is Hekesh Kakakais. Yatsu Shtaris comes to Skut Staris, Shav Bishim Metatal, and Ain Guf Moment. Even though they get taken, their Guf is not Moment. Hektatious, Amar Kra, Rei Ehu, it says Rei Ehu V'loi Hektish. So you only pay kefil to your friend, but not to Hektish. Okay, so that's how we know that there's no kefil. Fine. V'loi Tashum Dalit V'hei. There's no Tashum of Dalit V'hei. Right? My timer, Tashum Dalit V'hei, Amar Achman V'loi Tashum Shloisha V'arba. Dalit V'hei means, why is it Dalit V'hei? Because it gets paid on top of kefil. Right? But if there's no kefil, so there's no such thing as payment of 3 and 4. So once you're out of kefil, you're also out of dalit v'hei. Shem Rechinam ein nishba. Shem Rechinam doesn't swear. Minani mili. The Tanabana ki yite nisha reyeu klal. It says when a person gives something to his friend, it's a rule. Kesef oikelim prat. Kesef oikelim is prat. V'guna mibeisa ish. Right? Or it's lishmar. Yeah. Chazav a klal. Right, so it goes back in the klal. So again, klal prat klal. Yatadon allokeina prat. Ma prat mefurish dobra metal to the gufay moment. Just like the prat is mefurish, it's something that gets carried and it's gofas moment. I've called dobra metal to the gufay moment. Yatsu karka is sheina metal and it excludes karka that's not metal. Yatsu avodim shehokshu karka it excludes avodim that's compared to karka. Yatsu shtaris excludes shtaris shalbishim metal. Even though it gets taken, ain't goof on moment, its goof is not money because it's like we said yesterday, there's nothing, a karka is just a piece of paper that gives you information. There's nothing valuable about the actual paper. Fine. So that's how we learn that. Somebody who's getting paid to watch and then something happens also doesn't pay. So again, the same thing. It says when a person gives to his friend something to watch, it's a rule. Chamor oishar oiseh prat. The chol behema lishmar chazer v'klal. Klal prat klal. Yatadon elakneina prat. Ma prat mefurish davar metalta v'gufay mammon. The prat is mefurish that it's something gets taken and its guf is money. Af kol davar metalta v'gufay mammon. It has to be something that's movable and its guf is mammon. Yatzu karkaish and a metalta and it excludes karka that's not movable. Yatzu avodim shukshul karkais.
What does this Gemara do with the Medrash that Bernsham rolled up the whole Eretz Yisrael and put it on the Yaakov Avinu's head?
Did he do that, or it just made it like he flew? Is that what it means, or it means that
put it under his head?
Yeah,
and he rolled up the whole Eretz Yisrael.
I thought. Okay, I
Dave, are you still on, Dave?
No, I don't see him on.
No.
I understood that to mean that he just jumped the whole Eretz Yisrael, but if you're saying you're taking it like that, I don't know. If you Ibazai, then yesterday's daf where we said that by Sichon, that the whole karka was in his hand, so you could say it's possible that it was in his hand.
Yeah.
The Gemara doesn't say that though. The Gemara says, "Oh, there, you don't have a choice." So that's what we say, right? Anyways. Yotzu avodim shehukshu l'karkois, yotzu shtaras, shav b'ishem metaltalin. Even though it's metaltalin, ain't goof and mammon. There's no money there. Hektashes amakro re'eh v'lo shel hektish. Right. So again, the same limudim. Okay, we'll stop over there. It seems like we lost the crowd, anyways. I don't know. It's like we lost some of the crowd. Yeah.
Are you
in the car just because it's too noisy?
A half an hour early.
I texted you, Rachamim.
Yeah, okay, but I was driving and traffic and whatever. I don't. It's too much for me to do texting in the middle of the middle of everything here.
You didn't have to text. You had to read the text. Nobody asked you to answer.
Are you in the car?
No, you must have
because you're going someplace.
You must have.
Or there's too much noise.
You must have texted my wife.
I texted you.
Naftali, you're worried he's going somewhere without permission?
No, I'm just curious.
Are we saying Tehillim?
Yes. Not for the Knicks, though. Not for the Knicks, David.
I'm not worried about the Knicks.
Okay.
Rabbi
Oh,
Mesiris Nefesh over here to have the shear mitten the Knicks game. You know, it's pretty
Knicks,
good.
Islanders, a lot going on tonight.
Yeah, everybody showed up.
The
I'm very
draft.
impressed.
Oh, big night, big night.
I didn't even know. I hear. Okay.
And those of us who were on don't really care, right?
We don't care about sports during Yontif.
Oh,
It's not.
Or during the dusk.
It's not Nigeria. It has nothing to do with anything.
I got quite a few shilas and chuvas from Yankee Stadium tonight already, Rabban, before. Water bottles, Myriv. The guy made a mistake and said, should I daven Myriv in the stadium? I said, no. He says, anywhere in the stadium? I said, no.
This was a
daven
text last year. This was a text last year.
Yes. Daven be yechidas. Concentration is more important. Whatever.
Oh, not out to base of Adizara.
No, that without going in that.
Okay, fine. I wasn't sure.
Ben, I'll send you the text from last year.
Yeah, please do. I'd like to see it.
Okay, Zok to Tillim. Yeah, Pei Gimel. Not Zok. Let's say Tillim. Yeah. Pei Gimel. Shimmer's Mal Lasof Alima Do Melach Atechraj Vatishkar El Kinei Yevech Yamon Musanecha Nasu Rosh Alamcha Yuru Musaid Yisya to Tvenecha Amru Duchu Benachidim Begoy V'Lo Yisach Hashem Yisrael Oid Kinei to Lev Yachta V'Lacha B'Risi Chroisu Alei Adam Yishmeelim V'Yov Agrim Gvov Amon V'Amalek Fleshes and Yosh Bitzor Gam Ashram Deva Ima Yisrael V'Nei Leitzela Azelim Kimirion Kasisu Yamam Nachal Kishan Shtu Bein Dor Yidom El Adamash Yitzem and Divrei Mikair Chizei V'Chazav Amonu Kam Yitzmei Sher Amru Nishalon Ois Nois Elihim Elihai Shizem Kagag Kashel Feiruach Keish Devar Yoch Lovet Rechav V'Sifas Chesiv Aleim Alef Nepal V'Aksha Shemcha Adonai Yevosh V'Yivolo Adeir V'Yachburu V'Yavedu Yedu Ki